perhaps the most beautiful game ever. Ever. The environments in this game are so lush, so lifelike, so incredibly detailed and beautiful that it's almost hard to believe. And they are also extremely serene. Just wandering around these environments is incredibly relaxing and brings me a great sense of calm. And I hope that I can share that with you here today as we take a calm, soothing wander through the beautiful jungles of Pandora. As you can see, the density of foliage and the detail with which it is rendered is nothing short of stunning. And a big part of that is the incredible lighting being used here. Gorgeous, detailed shadows and incredible atmospheric, volumetric light give an unprecedented sense of depth and realism. The specular highlights on the leaves confer an amazing sense of texture and believability. And everything reacts to the environment, whether it's the gentle wind that sways the branches and vines, or the movement of your character through dense underbrush, or indeed more violent disturbances like stampeding native wildlife or even explosions. Of course, there will be none of that here today, just a serene wander. We begin our wander today close to these stunning waterfalls, teeming with all manner of alien life. There's something flying around there. Don't know what it is. And this also happens to be the location of the Resistance base in this part of Pandora, as you'll see momentarily. Look at this water rendering. Look at the amazing ripples and ripples as the wind textures the surface. The beautiful reflections. This engine makes use of all kinds of cutting-edge technologies, including ray-traced global illumination and reflections. And the art direction is equally impressive, with all manner of imaginative and fascinating alien flora and fauna mud. These clovers, or Pandora clovers. It's such a simple thing, and yet it looks so, so good. You can hear up ahead in the distance some of the members of the Resistance. The Resistance is a coalition of humans and Navi who are rallying against the presence of the RDA, the antagonists in this setting, who are here to exploit and extract the resources of Pandora.
Maybe if we... Nah, that'll never work.
And in the process, they are contaminating and polluting large swaths of the moon. Look at this plant. This is a healing plant. You can collect healing items from it. It's got all these insects flitting about. This game engine appears to be remarkably scalable. It's capable of running at lower settings and still looking pretty good. But if you want to push cutting-edge hardware, it will certainly do that. As a matter of fact, it even has a secret graphics setting, one that is not enabled by default. You have to input a command line argument in order to unlock it, or a startup argument, I guess, not command line exactly, but the point being that doing so unlocks the so-called Unobtanium graphics preset, which pushes all of the graphical quality parameters to their most extreme settings. And that is indeed what you are seeing here right now. This is the Unobtanium preset running at 4K on an RTX 4090 and looking just exquisite. And with a combination of resolution upscaling and frame generation, it's possible to run the Unobtanium preset at a 60 frames per second baseline consistently, granted with the 4090. It really does push the most powerful of today's hardware to its very limits. The Unobtanium preset is billed as compatibility for next generation graphics hardware, future proofing of a kind. So really the fact that it runs on today's hardware at all is somewhat impressive, let alone at 4K 60 plus FPS. Looking down into the valley here, we can see all sorts of bioluminescence. You may have noticed it. Much of the native plant life here emits a faint or sometimes quite vivid glow at night time, and it truly makes the jungle come alive when the stars are out. We're going to traverse these enormous roots or branches, whatever they are, and carefully make our way down to the valley bottom, where you will see just how beautiful this bioluminescence can be. We must, of course, watch our footing. Walking along a fairly narrow pathway like this, but we are Navi, I suppose, certainly adapted to this kind of traversal, moving across throughout the jungle, along paths which might otherwise be treacherous to the uninitiated. If we look back, we can see the waterfall which we passed by earlier, where we started our wander. One of the most remarkable things that I have observed about this engine and the Unobtanium preset is just how much detail is preserved at a great distance and also maintained up very close. Oh, listen to that. A downpour has started, and it is sublime. I love the sound of rain, and as much as I am effusive about the visuals in this game, the sound design is equally impressive and extremely suitable for ASMR. Just listen to that rain. And not just the rain, but the sounds of the living jungle all around us. Listen how the sound of the rain has subtly changed as we approach these broad-leafed plants. It's actually gone away now, but a moment ago you could hear the sound of the raindrops impacting the large umbrella-like leaves. Oh, look at this. This is what the RDA brings to Pandora. Death and destruction. The native fauna, fallen victim to the pollution and the Resistance are doing everything they can to drive out the RDA and restore the natural order here. Listen, you can hear once again the subtle shift in the rain sound. Based on the materials around us, the surfaces. It actually seems like the rain is letting up, slowly tapering off. Just a short cloudburst, but a welcome one. The sound rendering in this game is technically impressive, with ray-traced reflections for the sound. Oh. This is a native tree, I forget its name, but when disturbed, these large orbs of water will burst. The sound that you hear all around is realistically propagated through the environment, bouncing off hard surfaces, being absorbed by soft ones, reflecting around and causing realistic attenuation and echoes, which makes for an incredibly immersive soundscape, which pairs so nicely with the stunning visuals. I thought I saw something over there just now, a critter out of the corner of my eye, but perhaps I was mistaken. But these jungles are teeming with life, all manner of insects and animals, plants and fungi, in every nook and cranny. You can hear it, you can see it, and feel it all around us. Oh, there's one off to the right, just ran along that route. Did you see it? I don't know what kind of creature that is, but... And then of course we have these strange whirling plants. That make this funny sound. Again, the spatial rendering of the sound and its placement around you is just amazing, as is this stunning bioluminescence. Look, and whoa, I came very close. Look at this unbelievably beautiful scene. This strange bioluminescent jellyfish-like creature, or seed perhaps. These glowing fronds of jungle plants draping every surface. The fungi and lichen and algae on the ground, in the trees. The delicate glowing motes drifting through the air. sunlight, or in this case, moonlight. Let's make our way into the trees here and appreciate the splendor of the rainforest by night. Extremely beautiful and deeply soothing. There's something so serene about these environments and the way they look and sound. Let's keep following these fungi up into the canopy. This is a gorgeous flower with these vines. I don't know what it's called, but I see it all over the place here. That goes for many of these plants. I think this is the same vine here, maybe. The diversity of life in these environments is almost absurd. It's decadent, I think, is an excellent word. That was the word used by Alex Battaglia of Digital Foundry to describe the remarkable level of detail on display here. Did you notice when we landed on this fungus? It cast ripples outwards, bioluminescent ripples. And you can see as we traverse it, the light playing on the surface. A truly decadent level of environmental detail and diversity. Is an apt descriptor of this game. Look at these strange, pendulous fungi hanging from the canopy like enormous bioluminescent chandeliers. And many of these plants are more than mere window dressing as well. Many of them have gameplay significance or lore significance. I've not spent enough time on Pandora to recognize them all yet, but there is an extensive codex that describes the cultural significance and practical uses, whether medicinal or otherwise, of many, many of the plants that you see around us. And many of them can, in fact, be harvested and used for crafting of various kinds. The jungles of Pandora here and their visual fidelity have been likened by many to the original Crisis, and just how visually stunning that was upon its release, and I think that's an apt comparison. We're going to have to crouch to get through this low gap here. Listen to the subtle sounds of the water. And even down here, the level of detail is shocking on the ceiling and in the water. And while the original Crisis, all those years ago, became a infamous test of a computer's performance, giving rise to the meme, "Can it run Crisis?" I don't think this game will be quite such an enduring benchmark. It is beautiful, no doubt, and it can be used as a graphics showcase to push even the most powerful hardware that we have today. But I think that it does scale better to lower end hardware than Crysis did at its time. Although maybe that's an unfair assessment of Crysis, because I remember having an 8800 GT back in the day, and Crysis ran quite well on that card, even though that was solidly mid-range, so maybe the Crysis comparison is apt after all, in terms of both visual splendor and performance impact. Look at this view. Look at all those glowing fungi, the insects flitting about, and the scale of these massive, massive trees stretching up into the sky. Their dense canopy spreading far above. I won't be formally reviewing this game. At least I have no intention of doing so, but I will say in a little bit that I've played so far, I've enjoyed more than I expected, actually. It seems like more than just a competent open world game. It has some interesting ideas of its own, and they all seem very well executed. And if you are a fan of Avatar or open world games of this sort, it's well worth checking out. This item here, this beautiful, colorful flower, is special. It contains the memories of the ancestors of the Navi. It is capable of conferring those memories upon younger members of the clans, so that they might learn from the experience of those who came before. Well, my friends, we have made our way across the valley from where we started down across the valley bottom through the lush, dense, bioluminescent rainforest. And climbed our way back up here to this vantage point from which we might soak in the beauty of this jungle landscape from on high. Its alien flora and fauna and its stunning presentation and scope. This is, of course, but one very small slice of the map and world rendered in this game. The scale of this map seems almost ridiculous, just enormous from what I've seen so far. And I'm looking forward to exploring much more of it. I believe there are other biomes beyond this rainforest that might look different yet again. And of course, the jungle looks very different by the light of day as well. So there are plenty more wonders for us to take here if you enjoyed this video and found it as serene and relaxing as I did to wander this jungle. And if you would like to see more, so please feel free to let me know down in the comments if that is the case. But until then, thank you so much for joining me on this wander on Pandora today. And I look very forward to having you back here next time. Farewell for now, my friends. As some of you might know, in the setting of Avatar, the bonds between members of a clan are very, very strong, and the Na'vi rely upon their clan mates for survival. Just the same, I rely upon the incredible support of these clan mates, these amazing supporters on Patreon and YouTube memberships. These are the incredible folks who support what I do here, unconditionally, essentially, which means so very much to me, that they put that faith in me and want to see more of this content, and support what I do here, means so much to me. And they do get some perks in the process, so I guess it's not entirely unconditional, but I like to think that even if I wasn't giving those perks, these people would still be here supporting. I think they would. I get the feeling they would. They're just those kinds of people, which is to say incredibly kind, very generous, and deeply appreciated. And hey, you might very well be one of those people as well, even if you're not supporting here. I reckon if you are here watching this video and have made it to this point of the video, then those descriptors almost certainly apply to you as well, and I appreciate you. I actually called out in my last video, you folks who make it to this point, asked you to leave a comment if you got here, and a few of you did, which I see you, and I appreciated that. So once again, in the video gang, if you made it here, give me a "we know" in the comments. comments. If you know, you know. But hey, if you're listening to this and you're thinking maybe you would like to, financially support what I do here, and get some fun perks while you're at it, then perhaps this is for you. These various tiers on Patreon and YouTube memberships will hopefully give you something that is right just for you. Whether it's the Foos tier, where you get early access to my weekend videos, and of course your name on this thank you page. The Foos Row tier, where you get to vote in a monthly poll to select the topic of a video each month on this channel, or the Foos Row Da tier, where you get all of the previous, plus a very special spoken shout out at the end of each of these videos, and you, dear friends, are about to hear our Foos Row Da patrons and YouTube members for this video right now, starting with Ragnarson, Odinson, K Time, Rango Steel, Drummer Brit, and Jake Luffney. Some extremely generous, very kind, amazingly supportive individuals, and it is my honor to read their names in every video. Also, a quick shout out to our latest supporter, SMJ, in the Foos tier over on YouTube. I appreciate you very much, SMJ. Thank you for joining us here. Once again, thank you to all of our amazing supporters that you see here. As I've said several times now, I am so very thankful for their kindness, their generosity, and for them supporting the content that I create here. Thanks again, supporters.